And welcome back to Yes, I Said That on WCOBM.com. My name is Valerie and I'm your host. And wow, we've touched on a few really interesting things, and I'm just really grateful to have these two in the studio with me here. The Trokie's actually working, by the way. My shoulders were really stiff and hurting, and they're loosening.
Good. It's been about 30 minutes, so it should be dissolving by now.
Yeah, I don't feel anything else in there. But it's good.
Let's check the cameras if we have any questions.
Let's do
okay.
that.
So Brenda from Albuquerque, she wants to know, where do I find a cannabis doctor, a specialist? Okay, so that's a great question. I think a lot of people at home probably want to know that. The Normal organization is a great place to find a licensed physician who can legally recommend cannabis. So it's just Normal without the A, so NORML.org. You'll click Find a Doctor, and find a doctor in your state. I mean, Dr. Kent, isn't it important that we direct people to specialists and when we're talking about cannabis? And so many doctors out in the OC Weekly, these ads that are illegitimate, and oftentimes those recommendations don't even hold up in court.
Really?
I've heard of Skype doctors even.
Well, people out of state have been able to order a California ID through the internet without being seen by a doctor, and it's just, it's not right. So what we need to support is good medicine. Good medicine can, with cannabis, whether we're treating a disease state or we're having a recreational enjoyment, social.
Yeah.
All of those things really relate into wellness and a state of mind and being. And if we can relax, that has profound physiologic effects in a positive way on our being.
Right.
I mean, being physically examined, when I hear a patient, I saw a doctor on Skype and got a recommendation, I mean, at least get your heart checked once a year if it's your lead doctor. I mean, if you're not seeing your primary once a year, which is bad, you should be, at least go see your cannabis recommendation doctor. He can check your heart, make sure you don't have a heart murmur. You just want to make sure everything's okay, because cannabis, there's very little contraindicators, right?
Well, there isn't any what we call an LD50, which is a lethal dose. So there is no known lethal dose. Now, sure, if someone drops a ton of cannabis on you, you're going to get squashed and die. But you're not going to die from a dose of cannabis. It's impossible.
I think I thought I was going to die, right?
Does have a sense
You may feel like it, just like someone with a panic attack.
Yeah.
And one of the beautiful things is CBD, and in certain people, some range of THC and CBD really does help with that anxiety or that acute affliction.
So literally, the remedy for being too high is already in the plant.
It is. It's that yin and yang that we talked about.
If you're too high, just reach for a pure CBD. So important to have this pure CBD in your cupboard.
Right.
I mean, if you're taking cannabis, oil especially, it's pretty easy to take too much of a grain of rice. That's why I have kind of fallen in love with Dr. Kent and Trokie and the products here. It makes it so much easier for patients to use.
I have to agree with that, because when I first started on this cannabis journey, it was with high-grade cannabis oil, and I don't listen very well or follow directions. And still, I want to tell her, don't tell these people to go to the doctor, because but I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to say go to the doctor. But I didn't follow directions very well, and so I got I took too much, way too much, and I thought I'd died and gone to cannabis hell, and I was never going to take this again, and this was my punishment. And because still I'm in a hurry, and I don't want to do the whole measuring thing like you're supposed to. It was a pain. So when you started promoting this thing and actually turned me onto it, I don't have to fight with that other stuff anymore. This is what I use.
So many patients have poor gut functioning. So downing that Rick Simpson oil, I mean, how much really is being absorbed? So it to me seemed like a no-brainer to switch from taking cannabis oil and to switch a lot of products to the delivery system of Trokie.
Right. Yeah. Cannabis medicine has really appreciate Rick Simpson and his efforts and the fact that he reintroduced medicinal cannabis to medical science.
Rick,
but
we
we've
love you.
really gone far beyond the just Rick Simpson.
I mean, Rick, you're great. He's been a pioneer for the industry.
Amazing
in many
run for the
ways.
cure.
Given us a baseline of therapeutic goals,
Yeah.
and then
Absolutely.
we can add on to it.
Right,
So
that's what I'm saying.
But look how far we've come. We no
That's
longer
the-
need to eat a syringe, a grain of rice. That is so arbitrary. I cannot stand that word anymore after being a caregiver for, 2 years. I'm so cautious when patients call me in the middle of the night and they say, I can't sleep, my heart's racing, I want to call the ambulance. And I'm like, please don't. Do you have any CBD? Just take a little bit of CBD and see if you can come down. It's just way too difficult to use those syringes.
It is. I agree.
I know. We could go on and on those
Right.
syringes.
But let's not do that. Let's move on to that. And you mentioned using cannabis for addiction.
Right.
How is that? I mean, me, having worked in the addiction field, I really struggled. I don't know if you remember when I first came down here. I was like, how the heck am I supposed to do this?
Right. Well, I think, through the research we've collected, cannabis allows a change of a state of mind. The way that it changes the brain chemistry is it kind of allows new ideas and allows a very receptive time for the patient to receive new ideas and change. And I think that internal change is so critical to change the mind of an addict. And cannabis does internally what many pharmacological drugs cannot do. And so just by changing that state of mind and introducing, those new thoughts, it can do it literally overnight.
There's physiologic responses that can help deal with that craving.
Right.
And if it's an opiate craving, for instance, it can drop that opiate need to zero, and that's just absolutely remarkable.
I have a friend, 2 friends actually, and I was worked with addiction for a long time, but I have a friend that struggles with powdered substances, and I have a friend that struggles with alcohol. What can I offer to these 2 women to, if I was to say, hey, Mary Sue, instead of doing cocaine, do this, would it help her?
Generally, you would expect that it would. You may have to find that right ratio of CBD to THC and route of administration. This makes it easy because you can accurately dose it. It's repeatable, it's reproducible. That's it. We're avoiding whether you've eaten, whether you've got an empty stomach, whether you have gut problems, all of these things. We can actually give them a dose. They can respond. 25 milligrams did this to me. 12.5 milligrams did this to me, and not stop the alcohol or the opiate,
Right.
but add to it.
Add to it and see
then
what happens.
start seeing less of a craving,
And
less
I
of a
think
need.
Okay.
what's really important is patients go into a collective, they buy some type of cannabis product, and they eat too much, and they never want to do it again.
Right.
So much. If you have a family member that you want to help them, the best thing you can do is start them on a low dose cannabis acclimation process. So we're talking 3 to 5 milligrams and go up on the dose every 3 to 4 days, 7 milligrams. I mean, this is going to be a very gentle therapy. None of this like eat a 25 milligram cookie. This is not going to make anybody want to feel better.
Don't you have a website that you kind of manipulate on Facebook or something that has a lot of resources for people to click on?
Yeah, well, I have Trokie.com, and then we also have the Physicians Cannabis and Cancer Research Study. Please, please, please support it. Trying to get cannabis as medicine out there. It's our Facebook page. I'm on there. Everyone's on there. Go ahead and like it. It would It would be great.
That would be awesome. And Trokie.com. Trokie.com. Trokie.com.
Medicate discreetly. We've got these amazing little pill carrying case that VaLORIE uses daily to carry her pure CBD in.
Ideal.
And
Daily.
I mean, it's just so discreet. Who wants to smell like smoke when they're actually trying to treat a chronic illness?
And you guys, you know, I'm not at all against recreational cannabis.
Not at all.
You know, I'm not
against it.
I'm encouraging that you, if you do it recreationally, that you do it responsibly. I'm encouraging that you take the recreation out of the medicine, because though they come from the same plant, they are different. I don't want the medicinal side of cannabis to be stained with the recreational side.
Mutual
Right.
respect.
Respect. Whatever you do, do it responsibly. You guys, there is no cure for any disease out there. None of you can tell me that there is. The cure for everything starts right here and right here, when you take responsibility for your own existence and realize that Dr. Kent, or research assistant Elesha, or my buddy Bruce over there on the camera, or even loudmouth VaLORIE does not have all the answers. But collectively, we are searching for them. We're offering you information and tools to come up with those answers and heal yourself.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you, VaLORIE.
Thanks for being here.
So much, fella.
Thank you.